Yo guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new tactic video. And today I'm going to be bringing you my 4-3-1-2 tactic, which scores over 150 goals a season. If you guys do like these tactics and you want to see them coming out more frequently, then please smash the like button and please do subscribe to the channel. But let's get into this tactic and break it down. So, the first team we're going to test with is going to be Manchester United, and the results were absolutely outstanding. Now, we managed to win the Premier League absolutely convincingly, only dropping, it were 2 losses there, as we've seen, to Arsenal and to Man City, and they were only by a goal, and the one draw there against Chelsea, and it was a 3-3. Now, one thing which I love about this system is how many goals you score. We're going to cover that bit in a little while after we break down also winning the Champions League against Liverpool. Got to the final, obviously, and beat them 1-0. A little bit disappointed in the FA Cup. Not as disappointed in the Carabao Cup because it was against Man City. But stat-wise, Marcus Rashford, 58 goals. Whenever I play with a narrow, like 2 up top formation, especially in this Football Manager, they are really, really overpowered in my opinion. I love playing narrow. And when you've got 2 up top, the goals just get fed absolutely everywhere. 22 assists as well coming from Eriksen in the Premier League. 17 goals coming from Ronaldo in the Champions League. We did have a bit of an easy group, I will be honest. FA Cup, again, Marcus Rashford, top goal scorer with 4 and 2 assists for Ronaldo. We weren't exactly in that too long though. And again, Carabao Cup, quarterfinals, Rashford and Ronaldo shares the most assists. So very, very good stats coming out of the players, and a very good season, obviously, within the Premier League and the Champions League. I don't think many United fans will complain about that at the moment, especially. Going into them, we're going to go home just for a second. So 156 goals scored. So 150 goals plus scored this season, which is absolutely outstanding stuff. Only 19 conceded as well. So yeah, going into the data hub then, team attacking, you're going to be looking at 4.11 goals per game scored compared to the expected 3.21. Pass completion, again, very, very high. One thing that is very, very, I'm pretty sure is common sense, but when you're playing with this type of system, the 4-3-1-2, obviously, you've got your 3 in midfield that are slightly deeper compared to the attacking midfielder or attacking playmaker role, but you've got sort of 4 in midfield, so it's very easy to hold on to that ball, especially when you've got the likes of shorter passing on, and, you know, they're really just linking up within that midfield. So the pass completion is quite easy, and it's quite easy to maintain the ball as well in this system. Team defending, very, very positive as well. 0.5 conceded a game, absolutely exceptional. Again, tackle win ratio could be a little bit better there, but it's definitely not flawless, but still reasonably good, you know, getting on towards 80% mark. So just to clarify again, conceded 0.5 and we scored 4.11. Now that is absolutely outrageous. And yes, I know Manchester United are a great team, but they're definitely not the best team in the Premier League, if we're being honest. And we're going to take this and we're going to test it with Salford City. And we kept that energy going even with a League 2 side, coming out and absolutely blitzing this division. Actually, you know, that's a 30-point gap in between first and second. So absolutely dominant. You know, only dropping 2 losses in the entire season in what was a 2-0 defeat to Newport and a 2-1 to Oldham. Draws, reasonable amount, 6 draws, but again, we're looking at this one here as the main standout stat. Even with the 6 draws and 2 losses, we absolutely dominated the division. We've got Elliot Samos coming in with 35 goals, absolutely outrageous. Luke Bolton coming in with 14 assists. The Cups, again, not the best, but to be honest, when I test with a team like this, especially when they are like a team that are in Sky Bet League 2, my main aim is to try. I wasn't even expecting really to win it with Salford, but we did. Very happy with the results that we got. But I'm not too worried about the Cups, because at the end of the day, when you're winning the title by that many points, you know how effective this system is. Now, going over to the actual, or the home screen, where we can see how many goals we've scored. We scored 124, which I know isn't as many as Manchester United, but we haven't got the likes of Ronaldo, Rashford, you know, Bruno Fernandes putting the balls through, but still a very impressive stat line when it comes to goals scored. And conceded as well. It might seem a lot, but obviously you play more games in the Prem, and we're second best at that as well. So very impressed with the sort of team stats in general. Going into the data hub for this one, team attacking, we're looking at 2.7 goals a game, which again is still very, very high. Pass completion, relatively the same, sitting at 88%. which again is very good, especially when you're playing with a team like this, where realistically, no offense to the players, but they probably haven't got the best passing compared to, you know, the top teams in the Premier League division. In terms of defending, very, very impressive. Again, a few more conceded, but still sitting at under goal a game mark, which is something which I always like to try and do in my tactics. Obviously, if I'm replicating a manager, sometimes I can't do that because they are very attacking. They do concede goals. But when it's my tactics that I build, which isn't really based off a manager, I always do my best to try and keep it under a goal a game, because then you're not finding yourself too often on the back foot, forcing yourself to outscore all the time. Again, tackle win ratio could be higher, but personally for me, I do like a bit of the dirty side of the game, the tactical fouls here and there. So there are always going to be a few misplaced challenges. As you can see here, 14.65 fouls made a game. Again, if you're not like me, you want to be a bit of a cleaner manager, then something you can do is definitely tell them to be a little more disciplined. Obviously, you know, you can do this by going on get stuck in, simply unticking that, or just telling the players individually. Now, it's definitely something which possibly you guys might want to tweak. For me, though, I really do like it because I like that side of the game. But if it does annoy you, that's just a little heads up. Now, the game I've picked out is going to be against Leicester in what was a 5-0 win. The reason why I didn't pick the Champions League final to watch is because it was only one goal, and I just realised the goal came inside of 7 minutes. So there wouldn't be much to show you in terms of goals for that game, which is a bit of a shame. As we always do, we are going to talk about how this sort of system lines up in the actual game, and then we're going to watch a bit of the key highlights, and obviously that includes the goals. So, your 4-3-1-2, pretty basic really. You've got your 4 at the back here, obviously we can see. And then you're going to have your 3 in midfield. It's actually going to be, this should be Bruno Fernandes is meant to be the player that is slightly more advanced here. But you're going to have your 3 in the midfield here, which is going to be Eriksen, Casemiro and Fred. Bruno Fernandes will be actually playing more of this area here. Then you're going to have Ronaldo and Rashford as your front 2. Now, a big thing with this system is the importance of fullbacks. They do get involved quite a bit going up and down the wing, and it is very easy to contribute goals from the wide areas when you've got 2 good fullbacks that can put a ball in the box or can even get out wide, cause a few issues, then cut it back into centralised areas. Now, it is a very, very big thing in this system because obviously you don't have wingers in the system. So having the fullbacks get quite forward is something which, in my opinion, and I think everyone would agree, is needed in this tactic. The 3 in midfield is something which I've loved ever since I've pretty much been watching football. I hate to bring this game up, but in terms of FIFA, that's what I used to play all the time. I love rocking up with a 4-3-1-2 because I found it so easy to dominate the ball in the centre of the park. It's easy to maintain the ball, easy to hold possession, and you can get a lot of chances going from that because obviously, if you imagine, try and paint a picture for you here, if you've got the likes of, you know, I'll use these as an example, but you've got Ronaldo, you've got Rashford, you've got 2 strikers there which can both get in behind. So it's like, you've then got Bruno Fernandes who can pluck a ball over the top. You've got 3 midfielders. Typically, at least one of them is really, really creative. In this terms, it is going to be Eriksen, who is the most creative one apart from Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, you've got your slightly deeper one, which is Casemiro, who typically doesn't really get forward too much. The one next to him, which in this case is Fred, McTominay was there a lot, sort of like a box-to-box role. He will get up there as well. But despite them strikers getting in behind, you've also got the ability to hit the width, you know, hit the wide areas with fullbacks. Sometimes you see Eriksen possibly drift into a wide area. And I just feel it's so hard to defend against because you've got 2 strikers that can arguably get in behind at the same time. You've got a striker that could drift off and then distract players when the other one gets in behind. You've got the wide players. There's so much to defend, and it is really a nightmare for teams to defend against this. And I know I wouldn't want to. No chance would I be able to defend this. But yeah, with that being said, the point of this system is pretty much, you're going to see, for starters, for example, the midfield 3, you're going to see, hopefully in these key highlights, I'm hoping it does show it a bit, how easy they maintain the ball. Because you've got to imagine how close they sort of stick together. But if you imagine it's going to be sort of, we'll use Casemiro as an example here. Say Casemiro was sort of in a deep area here. He's going to have several options to go to. He's typically going to have at least 2 midfield players next to him. He's going to have centre-backs he can go back to, possibly full-backs out wide. And if he's completely blocked off, chances are he could play a long ball over the top to one of these strikers. So let's run the key highlights now and break it down a little bit. So, here we go. So, it's going to be Rashford down the line here. Fullback into Fred, takes his time. Again, loads of options on the ball. Into Wan-Bissaka, into Casemiro. Again, options upon options. Again here, you're seeing, it's not a perfect diamond, but you are seeing these diamonds start to appear, and That is something which is not typically necessarily intended, but it's more the fact that because there is so many players in that midfield, there's always one back just in front of the defenders, and that just forms these types of shapes, which makes it so easy to maintain the ball. You got Wan-Bissaka here going out wide with the ball. Beautiful run from him actually there. Gets the ball in the middle to Bruno Fernandes, into Rashford, who does miss a bit of a sitter, but it doesn't look like it stops there. It's going to be Lindelof with the ball. Cuts off there, brilliant. Okay, this is going to be a goal coming up here. So it's Wan-Bissaka into Rashford, takes a touch into Bruno Fernandes. Again, beautiful passing. Eriksen, what a finish that is. And that is the next part I want to talk about. It's a perfect time to pause. That little pass and play there, it wasn't anything too special. But when you saw the ball got put into the box, that is something you're going to see. Just because this is on shorter passing, it doesn't mean that we're afraid to put a ball in the box when we need to. That is the beauty as well of this tactic, is that the chances you create are so varied. They can come from wide areas, as I said. They can come from obviously centralised areas, but we didn't really go into conversation about the fact of, is it always short passing, is it long passing? It's a nice mixture, to be honest with you. The shorter passing typically occurs on, you know, in the centre of the park, but when there are runners out wide or getting in behind, then they will find them players, and for me, that is something that you want to be seeing. When you've got two up top, you want to be seeing at least one of them getting in behind and have the potential of a ball getting played over the top for them. Moving on then, so it is going to be not a goal coming from this, but Fred into Rashford. Good bit of pass and play here. Again, Wan-Bissaka with the ball. Is he going to go out wide? Cuts it back into Fred. Beautiful passing options. Back in, has a pop, and it hits the bar, I believe that was. Again, a very good chance created. Just on some very top passing, to be honest with you. Again, Vardy with the ball here. A little bit of pressure putting on him here, sorry. Not the most intense press with this system, though, to be fair. Wan-Bissaka, though, does win it back there after a poor kick, very poor kick from then. Drives at the midfield here into Rashford. Takes his time, back out to Wan-Bissaka. Takes it all the way out wide. And this is what you want to see your fullbacks do. Because when you're in this area, let's have a little game of count, shall we? Because we've got Rashford in the box. We've got Bruno Fernandes. We've got Ronaldo. But if you look here, guys, number 31. Obviously, in this scenario, going to be Malacia. Wan-Bissaka could put a ball over pretty much all the way across here. And if he gets in here quick enough, be a replica of Luke Shaw's goal versus Italy. And that is what is amazing about this. Like I said, I don't know where this is going to go. So let's have a look what he actually does with it. He does put it into Bruno at the near post. But that was just a good opportunity to show you guys the amount of options you have in that box when you finally get to that area. And considering then as well, the box-to-box wasn't even in the box. Sometimes you're going to have that plus another man. And also, if they were to counter, you've still got that defensive midfield player. You've still got the centre-backs. You're completely fine. Malacia out wide here into Eriksen. Beautiful throwing by him, by the way. Casemiro just using the options around him. Absolutely beautiful. Martinez driving into Lindelof, into Fred. Again, look at the space here. So hard to defend against. Wan-Bissaka has pretty much got a free run, and he is going to latch onto that quite well by the looks of it. He does cuts it across, very poor cross, but that is down to the player, not down to the tactic there. Martinez with the ball into Casemiro again. Wonder ball into Malacia, and that is a beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to quickly say this, by the way, guys. Do leave a comment right now. Would you like to see me do the 2D analysis to show you sort of how it lines up? Would you like to see the goals in an actual game so you actually get to see, you know, the players playing the ball instead of dots on a map? Do let me know, because I see a mixture of, you know, of how people do it. I personally like 2D. If you guys do want to see the goals actually scored as in like you're watching the game, then do comment it below. Because, you know, I just want to make these videos as good as I can for you guys. But carrying on with this then. So, all right, you've done your celebration, lads. Let's move on. They love a celebration by the looks of it. There we go. So it's going to be looking to get into the third goal, actually. So it's going to be Malacia again with a throw-in into Ronaldo. Comes a little bit deep there into Bruno. Beautiful play into Malacia. And that is what you're going to see with the ball. When there is an option over, and you can see with Wan-Bissaka, obviously, staying wider here in this area, he's always free. And Malacia plucks him out with a wonder ball. And it's going to be Wan-Bissaka. Again, pause. Let's have a game of count. You've got number 10, Rashford. 18, Fernandes. Eriksen and Ronaldo. So you're going to have 4 players in the box. Again, probably isn't on for this pass here, but so many options to get that ball into the box. Fred actually just about gets there as well to be an option on the edge. Back into Fred, into Wan-Bissaka, into Ronaldo, and it's absolutely sublime. It is honestly outstanding football. It's wonderful to see just the way that it builds up, and this is a tactic which I'm definitely going to try and recreate in the next Football Manager as well, because I just love the way it plays. Wan-Bissaka with another throw and getting a lot of them today. Back into Fred, back into Rashford, ball across into Eriksen. And that is just a bit of individual excellence, is what that is. That is good play, but the finish just comes down to Eriksson having one of the best strikes you'll probably see from him for quite some time. Wonderful bit of play, tucks it in the far right corner. Obviously, Leicester City are a bit handicapped with Danny Ward in goal. No disrespect, but he's not exactly the best goalkeeper. I don't think any keeper would have kept that one out, to be fair. They have a throw in here with Ricardo. We went it back very well there, forcing back out to Ricardo. Back into Ndidi in the midfield area. Just sort of pressing them, but quite passively. They're not going anywhere with this just yet. They might do here, though. Maddison out wide with it. Cuts it back into Ndidi. We're doing quite well. Again, we're getting a good chance. Pay attention to this because we're getting a good chance to see how defensive this formation can be as well. In terms of, you know, blocking entrances and all of that. And I thought number 31 was going to put a leg in there and try and win it back. Does Maddison get a ball in? It's a poor ball from Maddison, and Rashford is there to pick up the scraps, and he is absolutely darting down this right wing. Options again. We've got number 29 coming to help in Wan-Bissaka. Fred's there as well if needed. Is he going to use him? He gets a ball across into Ronaldo, into Eriksson, and it's a great save actually from Danny Ward, to be fair to him in that circumstance. But you got a very good chance there to see the counter-attacking ability, as we saw with Rashford. Ball in with Ronaldo, just over the top. Little bit gutting there. Little bit gutting there. And we are now going to be seeing the last goal come in. It's going to be Danny Ward into Ndidi, who's being forced centre-back, actually, which isn't good to see. Light press coming on there. Are they going to make a mistake is the big question. It's looking that way. He's been forced to kick it long. Malacia wins it back into Bruno Fernandes, into Sancho. Here you go. You're seeing the play into McTominay, who hits it into the bottom right corner. And that is an absolute wonder strike. That would be a perfect chance if you guys do want to see the actual goals at the back of the net. We can definitely do that going forward because I think that one was an absolute screamer. Before we do break down the tactic in this video, which I know is what you guys come for, please show some support on this channel by leaving a like on this video, and please do subscribe and turn on notifications. It means a lot and I love to interact with you guys in the comments. But let's break down this tactic, and trust me, you guys need to try this out. So this is going to be the daily 4-3-1-2. It is going to be a viewer suggestion. If you guys have suggested a tactic, I promise you I do read them. I always reply, and they are being made. They take hours to make, and they are difficult to make, some of them. I do stay up very late at night making these tactics for you guys, so trust me, the work is going on behind the scenes. I do promise you that. The Wenger ball tactic, which I know a lot of you guys have requested, is actually already uploaded, but it's set to private because RDF Tactics, who is another fantastic tactic maker, uploaded his version of it, and I don't want to collide with him. I don't want him to release it and then I instantly go and release mine because it looks very bad on me, to be honest with you. So I will be releasing it, but it will probably be released in a couple of weeks, just because I don't want to come across like I've literally just seen what he's doing, bam, you know, whack up a tactic. But there are lots planned, and if you guys want to see this week's tactics sort of schedule, then go over to the community page on my YouTube channel, sorry, and you can see exactly what is coming out this week. We've got 5 tactics for you guys this week, so absolutely loads. So be sure to stick around and watch absolutely all of them, because if you don't like this one, you're probably going to like the next one. There's always a formation for everyone. Let's break down this 4-3-1-2. So, mentality you want to set to attacking, because this is a very, very attacking formation. In possession, you want fairly wide with the width, because you do need the width in the team. Pass into space, overlap left and right, play out of defence, shorter passing, extremely high tempo, be more expressive, run at defence, and mix crosses. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks and the centre-backs, and take short kicks. Out of possession, standard defensive line, much higher line of engagement. Trigger press is set to much more often. I did have this as get stuck in, but what I've done, I've unticked this and saved it again, so it will translate for you guys. Just because I can already see a few of you guys getting annoyed with the amount of bookings. So if you guys do want to see that back on, make sure to tick it on. But I've taken it off because I don't think it's for everyone. Going over to the player roles then, we are going to have a sweeper keeper, very basic, on the shorter passing, and that is simply it. I'm going to show you one fullback because they are literally exactly the same, and that is going to be balanced on the press, get further forward, stay wider, run wide with the ball, and shorter passing. I will actually quickly show you this because they are the same, but one thing I have on one of my fullbacks, I've just realised, is I have one on take more risks, because I do like one of them to be a little bit more, you know, sort of involved in the attack, but that is purely up to you guys with that one. the two defenders, you want one central defender on defend, just balanced on the press and shorter passing, and then one ball playing defender on the right hand side on defend, on dribble more, shorter passing and balanced on the press. Moving on to the three in midfield, we'll start off on the right hand side. We've got a box to box, a must needed player. You need this role in this midfield. On the support, get further forward, stay wider, dribble more, take more risks, shorter passing, less often, and tackle harder selected. Again, if you feel like you're picking up too many fouls for this individual role, tick this off and you'll be sorted. Going into the middle, ball winning midfielder, sort of, you know, the one that protects his back four. On the defend duty, balanced on the press, shorter passing, and that is simple with that. Centre mid, automatic. We are going to have him on balanced on the press, tackle harder, stay wider, shorter passing, dribble more, and take more risks selected, because he is the most attacking midfield player in that three. Going over to what is going to be the advanced playmaker, which is going to be Bruno Fernandes in this circumstance. On the attack duty, less often, tackle harder, roam from position, because that way he's going to get in them areas which are very difficult to defend for the opposition, and shorter passing selected. Two up top, both are going to be advanced forward players. On the left, you're going to have one on less often, roam from position, shorter passing, take more risks and dribble more. On the right hand side, exactly the same role on the advanced forward, but this one is going to be less often, shorter passing, but this one is a little bit more selfish. Shoot more often, take more risks and dribble more. I like to have one a little bit more sort of, you know, goal hungry than the other, just because it does sort of work really well. You can pick which side you do this on though, so you know that is purely situational based. But that is going to be this tactic completely broken down for you guys. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the best tactics I've released in terms of scoring goals. Obviously, with Manchester United, you're looking at over 4 goals a game, so definitely test this tactic out and let me know how you guys get on in the comments. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, please smash that like button below. Let's try and hit 30 likes on this video. And please do subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. But that is going to be it for me today, guys. See you in the next one.